Good evening. I would like to call to order the November 15, 2021 Lake Washington School Board study session. Let the record reflect that all board members are present and participating remotely. Under Proclamation 20-28.15 of the Open Public Meetings Act and Public Records Act, the prohibition on in-person public meetings is extended, but there's an exception for public meetings that can comply with the guidelines for business meetings found in miscellaneous venues guidance. That guidance provides that governing bodies may hold in-person public meetings with no restrictions on capacity or physical distance requirements, but all current applicable face covering requirements must be met. The board values public participation and engagement in the meeting of the board. The board will also continue to comply with the laws related to open public meetings and current emergency requirements related to miscellaneous venues. If the guidance and all of the requirements related to COVID-19 cannot be met, the board must hold its meetings remotely and provide access via live stream or audio. Due to recent non-compliance at board meetings, the board has determined to hold meetings remotely. The board will notify the public of the location of meetings through the Meetings tab on Board Docs on the LWSD webpage. That's www.lwsd.org, the tab for Board Docs. At this time, it is planned that all board meetings scheduled in November and December will be held remotely unless there are changes in the guidance provided. Board meetings, study sessions, and special board meetings will continue to be live streamed and viewable on the district's website. If you are unable to live stream the meeting, you may call to listen. That phone number is 425-936-2813, conference ID 37127. The first item on the agenda for tonight's study session is a continued discussion around legislative priorities. Director Sage will be leading this discussion, but Dr. Holman, do you want to get us started with a summary of where we're at and where we've been?
We'll do my best, and then Director Sage will valiantly lead us through this conversation.
I will say, look at your email.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
I sent it just a few minutes ago.
okay, great. And so tonight, another study session for the board to continue discussion of legislative priorities. And then tonight at the board meeting, Associate Superintendent Barbara Posthumus will actually present some data and information around the topics that are related to really the overall legislative work as we think about that moving forward. The board will start to narrow in and identify those priorities, and then at the December 6th board meeting, we'll bring a finalized ledge platform for the board to actually take action on at that meeting. And so, again, appreciate this conversation and discussion because this does really help all of us think about, as we're meeting with and working with our elected officials, how are we representing the values and the priorities of the district as it relates to students and student success. And that really has been the lens that I think this board has viewed this work through. And with that, I'll hand it to Director Sage.
Okay. So you all have a recent email from me that shows how the priorities sort of came out when we all stack ranked what had made it to our, I think, top 20. And then I took the top 10 and turned them back to everybody and said, okay, let's take a look at these. And each of you also stack ranked the top 10. So I'm going to go through just so that the public can also follow along. And maybe, Eric, you can put this up on the screen if that makes it easier. And we can discuss what made our top 10. And then I would really like to have John, I know you mentioned Barbara would speak to this at the board meeting, but if you might weigh in a little bit with where you see district needs falling out, I think it would be helpful to have you in this conversation. And also there's some positions that made it to our top 10, thank you, Barbara, that kind of overlap with others, and we might look at combining one of our positions to incorporate, the overlap. So keep an open mind, and with that, hopefully we can walk through it.
Would you like me to share my screen now, or do you want to start having a conversation first?
I think it'd be helpful if you could share your screen and then we can all look at what did come out in rank order. And then also have a discussion on where there's some overlap between the positions. And I know Director Bleasner, you'll be able to weigh in on some of this as well, where you saw some of the positions coming together that really were advocating for funding, but in advocating it for this area, we're also advocating it therefore in another area that we also ranked in our top 10. So trying to sort of streamline what it is. And I'm going to pull it up on my other screen so I can see it a little bit better. Okay.
Oh, is it hard to see? I can maybe
Yes, you could bump it up if possible.
try to do that.
Probably not and get it all in one page, huh?
Yeah, well, you might get dizzy, but I'll play with it for just a second here.
Okay. So what I did was I took everybody's top 10 and then to find our highest priority, since it was a priority of number 1 and down to number 10, then I looked at, well, what has the lowest count amongst all of us? So out of the 5 of us, the lowest count, which meant top priority, ended up being special education support for special education programs, followed by funding behavior support services and social emotional learning. We all know that we did not get enough funding in ESSER dollars to provide this without going into levy dollars, and every student needs it. And then the cost of fully funding the school employees benefit plan. I believe it was a year ago, Barbara, where the legislature changed what we needed to be offering and what FTE we needed to offer those supports at. And that was
they actually passed it in 2017, but it went into effect in January of 2020.
Okay, and that has come at a significant cost because we now provide full benefits for part-time employees, including subs. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. So I'm open to any discussion looking at these top 10. If something jumps out at you or something that, yes, John.
Can I also just kind of qualify this whole process with, this isn't a prioritization of issues or putting one issue over another. This is about our work with our legislators and where are the greatest leverage points for our school district. There are legislative positions that WASDA takes that they're a stretch to really kind of bring people together and have common understanding and agreement on an issue, or it's such a nuance that it really doesn't have a significant impact on, for us, Lake Washington, but really K-12 in general. So as I think about all of these, I think about what are the highest leverage points for us as a district. And so, for me, that kind of goes to what are the areas of greatest impact right now. And so for me, one of those areas is special education funding, because we know right now we're paying for that total program, 30% of that program is funded from our local levy dollars. And I believe, Barbara, correct me, but I believe that's about $20 million annually that we're funding to a program that, well, ultimately it's a federal program, but also comes with state dollars. So we're having to actually supplement basic education with our local levy dollars to a significant degree. That's why that is, for me, is one of those high priority areas, because of the major impact it has on our ability to use those dollars for other things. And so it's never about reducing supports for our students with special education services, but it's about how is that actually being funded, knowing that that's a required service that is state and federal requirement. So that's kind of, as I think about this, because there's things on this list that are priorities for all of us, but it's also, these always aren't legislative high leverage issues, because they're things maybe that we'll do internally or otherwise.
And we're talking about our most vulnerable learners, and we're talking about the cost to actually provide basic education for them, which is a lot more than perhaps the legislature understands. Director Bleasner.
So in the process of doing this, the one piece that came to mind is that as we look to the legislation, sort of what those priorities, these are sort of big global ideas, but that there might be very specific items under these topics that they were considering. I think support for special education, I look at the inclusion work and I see that being a great piece of our conversation to really speak to and around that in sort of those pieces. Attract, recruit, and retain high quality, diverse staff. What specific things under there do we legislatively believe are important for how we are able to best attract and retain? I know reciprocity between states has been talked about. So I think we need to just target if there are specifics. These are all very large, was sort of my challenge. If they fully funded basic education, would take care of special education, that one would be done, right? So you could argue that that's the one, that's it, and everything falls. SEB is part of basic education at this point because they placed it under that. So in reality, it should be funded at the full cost for what it was in which to come in. So I think that was the challenge I had actually when ranking, as I was looking for more what sort of specific priorities in a short session, because we know we only have a short time, can we leverage? And that was the hold harmless piece, the budget stability. Right. That's some of that ESSER dollars. That's been a huge conversation that's been had. What has been the cost per pupil for actual COVID-19 mitigation? And that is the piece that in which we should be working with the legislature to ensure that is addressed.
Well said. So I guess my question to begin, before we try and narrow it down to specifically for our district, what would make the most impact when we are advocating with the legislature would be where can you see some of these combine, such as the attract, recruit, retain highly diverse and qualified staff, and the SEB or the special education supports. I think Chris had his hand up next.
Well, so Siri raised an interesting question. The short session matters because we sort of work on a biennial system, and in the short session, they tend to be more tweaks rather than major initiatives. And that was where I was looking at these and trying to find very specific asks. And unfortunately, very few of these are very specific asks. And from my perspective, in a short session, we ought to be trying to go in there with, I want this line item to change. And if we can do that, that would really be a success for this session. I'm looking at this, it's not that I thought special education programs are unimportant, but rather that special education programs are really unlikely to change meaningfully in a short session. That's just not something, that's a big problem. I don't see it meaningfully, and so we could put a lot of energy into doing something I don't see the legislators paying a lot of attention to this year. Next year, perhaps. So it might be a long game. But anyway, I agree with Siri. The hold harmless matters a lot. And these are things where trying to understand there are some things we just need to keep the pedal to the metal year in, year out, especially where we're stuck with school construction. I mean, this is something for our district very specifically. Our legislators need to hear that from us every single time we talk to them. But other than that, I mean, I actually told Cassandra that, I was somewhat tardy in getting my numbers in on this. And practically, this is something I believe we can do a good job with. It's not the fine-tuning of the rankings. It's rather fine-tuning of the message when we talk to the legislators that I think is really important this evening.
And maybe it would be helpful if, John, you could pull up last year's platform, if you happen to have it anywhere near you. Or Eric, whoever's fastest. Or Barbara.
Yep, let me just give me 2 seconds.
So kind of having looked at what rose to the surface for us in the broad categories, maybe it's time to look at what our platform was last year and see what we might want to tweak for a short session, some measurable goals that we think we have for the short session.
That is a good transition to what I was wanting to talk about too.
Okay.
I was actually just looking at, now I'm having trouble loading it. I was just looking at, I'm glad Barbara was able to, our platform for last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to propose that we roll it over for this year. I looked at it and I thought that is, when I think of what our priorities are and what remains unaddressed, it's basically all of this. Now, when we talk about what it means to be held harmless and responding to COVID-19, I think that it's different now than it was. I mean, the principles remain the same, the specifics are different. But everything else that I was thinking about for this year is what we were talking about last year.
So the things that were in that urgent category in the sort of the reddish maroon color, I think some of that has sort of been determined from last year. So I'm not sure that like the emergency liability response, some of that has been worked out. And I see lots of hands up and I don't remember the order, but Eric, did you want to chime in on that?
No, I'm done talking for now.
Okay.
I think John may have had something he wanted to respond to because his hand went up. But.
Okay.
So mine was a little bit about what Chris said. To me, this session isn't always about getting things accomplished, but making sure that the seeds that we've sown along the way get watered and nurtured and pull a few weeds around it, because next year there could be some movement on some of these issues or progress being made. And so to me, the short session, if they do hold to a short session, you're right, it doesn't have the same ability for them to make large-scale decisions, and it's technically not a budget year for them, even though they always look at budget and do some modification. In terms of the urgent category, I think there are still urgent issues in terms of hold harmless. We are continuing to advocate for, if you will, hold harmless type actions. We also continue to bring forward the issue around ESSER funding and the inequities that our district experienced in that process. And every time I see the charts for what school districts received across the state, Barbara has a data chart that she'll share during the board meeting tonight. It almost takes my breath away that, and this is, I'm not disparaging any other district. Spokane Public Schools, about 2,000 students smaller than us, received $124 million of ESSER funds. We received $12 million. Like, that is such an astonishing difference. And so when I think about urgent for like Washington School District and some of our neighboring districts around hold harmless, to me, it's also those funding streams to actually respond to COVID in the way that we know we need to. Because if you have $124 million, you think of all of the ancillary supports that you can build in for students as they're transitioning back. And so there are things that districts can do with those dollars. In terms of the emergency liability, that probably is a piece that can probably be taken off, because it was sort of dealt with and moved on at this point. And so, but if we were to adopt this platform, I think there's a need for us to continue the urgent category in that conversation.
Barbara, did you have something that you wanted to weigh in on that?
I just wanted to, on the attract and retain, I know there was the state-to-state reciprocity, but I think there was a bill passed, and I'm trying to find the bill. There was something that was solved last session, and so that I don't know.
Yeah, I think there was something that amounted to what kind of options they had for being certified in our state. And I'm not exactly sure what it all contained, but it seemed like there was a step toward making reciprocity for certified teachers in other states easier in Washington State, so that they could come here and actually teach.
Yeah, so I think that one, there was something that got added, so that was helpful.
Right.
I think the last, can I just comment on that real quick? I think
Sure.
the last time I heard, while there was work done, I'm not sure it opened roads between states. It may have, put a U-turn here and there, and maybe a stop sign that was, or a stoplight that wasn't working. But so I think there's
Right.
still work to be done in that regard. And when I think about recruitment across the country, that reciprocity concept really allows us to recruit, have someone accept a job and be placed here in Washington State versus accept a job, go through a whole testing process that potentially could then cause you not to be qualified for the position. That's a huge difference between absolute reciprocity between states.
Right. Mark?
I think we need to keep an eye on another ball as well, and that's the fact that we're going to be going for a levy in February. If we abandon what our parents want in the ways of special ed and SEL and some of those very student-centric issues as our vital concerns, I don't think our audience of parents are going to be very supportive of us just going for what they look at as technical. I think a lot of the technical or the construction issues could be put under an umbrella, under urgent. But to be quite frank, as Eric said, I could live with the top four staying there. If we need to tweak the middle because they don't exactly fit these days, that's fine. Again, I think that we need to really look at what's important to our parents. It's a short session, yes, but if we're going to keep saying that it's important for us every year, year in, year out, to say do away with 60% and give us the 50%, then I'd say the same thing goes for our students. And if we don't do it for our students, our parents are going to say, what in the hell are you doing there?
I think the only thing we've taken off of this is the emergency liability response isn't necessarily what it meant last year, that some of that's been resolved. Nothing else has been taken off this platform.
Well, I'm speaking to what Chris was saying earlier.
And I think, Chris, your hand went up next.
Yeah, I was going to say, Mark, if that's what you think I said, that's not what I said.
Okay.
My
Try again.
point was that, this is not a year where we need to make big changes. And you may be responding to my rank ordering of things on the Excel spreadsheet, but to me, that rank ordering doesn't make much difference because virtually everything other than emergency liability response stays on here. As far as I'm concerned, the only tinkering that needs to be done with this thing is I want simple majority for school bonds to be put at the top of the ongoing list rather than at the bottom of it, as it is our last priority, when that would solve a whole lot of other problems if we could actually get that to happen. And it's easy to say, and it's a short soundbite. But other than that, I really don't see much need to tinker. I do like the idea of breaking out or even highlighting within these, the state-to-state reciprocity. The Western States Consortium, I mean, if we could just get Oregon and California to have reciprocity with this state, that would be enormous, because that's where our workforce of everyone else, not just teachers, migrates up and down the coast. And so that's something where it would be a big deal to allow those states to, teachers licensed in those states, to work here. So anyway, that's why I point out, it was never a matter of removing anything from the vital list. Okay. It's just that I don't see any of those changing much in a short session.
I hear you, Chris, and to be quite frank, what I think we could do, when you talk about the attract and retain staff, so forth, diverse staff, if we zeroed in on what we really think would be the deal breaker of reciprocity, let's call it out. Let's go for that and say that this would enable us to do Bing, Bing, and Bing, but call out the primary item and say how this would support us in attracting, training, if I could read the small print, attract, recruit, and retain high-quality, diverse staff. Let's basically flip the topic, if you will, and go for reciprocity and say how that will have an impact on those key factors. As far as
there's definitely time to work out the messaging.
Yeah, if we're losing the liability, the emergency liability under urgent, I could see throwing your tech needs under there, because until they get broadband, a lot of our students are out of luck. So the tech could move over there as well.
Director Bleasner? Muted, I think.
Sorry. So in looking at these ledge priorities from before and the tweaks, I do think targeting those specific things under each of those is where we could tighten it more effectively. So similar to what Mark just said, hitting that reciprocity piece under special education programs, what specifically do we want to ask there in regards to that? And just sort of really start trying to, under SEB, what specifically, and really start targeting that. If there's specific legislation that's out there and they're dealing with it, how do we tag this into it and think about it? So I think that's where we could be a little more strategic through this. I also think the technology funding, based on everything we just did with COVID, is a key conversation to be holding this year in relation to our legislatures, just because of the amount. 90% of our funding is there. We know this is a key component for our students in being able to access, be it the hardware, software, internet, all those components are one. It's not just the item, it's all the above. So I do think that's one that, whether it's under urgent, ongoing, I just think it needs to be there, that we actually do highlight that piece, because that's usually a shock to people, that 90% levy dollars.
And I think just the sheer cost for technology, whether you're talking about the infrastructure or you're talking about the hardware or the software, it's an astronomical amount of money, and it is a state issue to ensure that all students have access to technology in this global society. Mark, I believe you're muted.
For once. Let's see. Back to what Siri was saying, the idea of linking it to specific legislation. If we could go through and look at the bills that are currently in the chute, so to speak, for this session, and then look at the authors, to be quite frank, some authors are a little bit more equal than others, if you will, when it comes to getting legislation through, and throw our strength there and make the links. If we're talking about special ed, okay, is it bill A, B, and C that we need to target? That will take care, that will address our problems. It won't take care of them, but it'll address our problems under special ed or under social emotional learning, or for that matter, the emergency, the tech issue. There was and I'm blanking on the representative's name, but that had a broadband bill last year that did very well. And if we can work in with him and others who are having big interest in that, and be very specific, as opposed to these kind of generalities, we tended to try and be very poetic, if you will, and dealing with from the 10,000 feet realm, as opposed to going, this is what we need to do on the ground. Bing, bing, and bing.
So when we actually sit down and strategize for our meetings with legislators, that's where more specifics will really come in. You know, something like this is actually, we changed the format. So this last year that we're looking at right now is a different format than we typically listed our ledge platform and priorities. And in part, we did it because we wanted to emphasize some things that were occurring because of the different environment we're now in education. So when it gets down to specifics and we see certain bills drop, then we can say, okay, this is a bill that really encompasses all of our needs, and make sure we're talking to the people who put the bill forward, for sure.
My thought is, rather than have them tell us what bill is would fit our needs, have us make sure that we know it going in, so we can address a specific bill, because the legislators, especially in a short session, aren't going to have a lot of time to waste. And if we can go in there and zero in on certain factors in certain bills, I think we'll be listened to, because it'll sound a little bit more professional, to be quite frank, as opposed to going in there with overall umbrella topics.
And that's what we have been. That's what we have been doing. So that's been super helpful to have not just our meetings with legislators, but also the WASDA area meetings with legislators, so that we can all combine our advocacy and say, hey, we really need to not spend 90% of our tech levy dollars on these things. So that's ongoing, but there also might be some new things that drop this year that we say, hey, this is something that could really make a huge difference. John?
So I'm just sitting here kind of going through the Ledge platform, thinking about, like, how do we make this more actionable from the perspective of the board and staff? So I'm wondering if there's almost two pieces to what we're developing here. One is the Ledge platform, and then almost a supplement to that is, here's our Ledge platform, and here's where we believe the direct links are to the current legislative work that's occurring. And that could almost be, because I did a follow-up email to every legislator we met with last year, I'm wondering if we could develop that out, so that's the follow-up. But I'm wondering, for like special education, as I read it, increased by 308 million. That's okay, that's a lot of money. But I'm wondering if we get more specific to that. And I don't remember what the student multiplier is for special education. Barbara, do you remember exactly what it is? Let me just, so I believe it's around like 0.98.
It's been increased. It went from like 0.9309 to 0.95.
Okay,
something.
so
Yeah.
Let's say it's 0.95 right now. So, special education programs and services fully fund the cost of special education by increasing the student multiplier from 0.95 to 1.15, or whatever the right number is to actually achieve full funding of special education in Washington State, because then that allows us to advocate for ourselves, and it's very, very specific as to what we are asking. And then kind of the supplemental is, then what's the legislation that we believe is relevant to that specific statement? And if we did that for each of these, and maybe there's some additional things under special ed, but then it probably shortens the language on the platform, but I think it actually gives all of us some more actionable language to be able to talk with our legislators about.
Yeah. And it's
Agreed.
0.995. Sorry, I had to just find 0.995. So yes, increasing it to 100%, 110%.
And I think too, it's really helpful when we're speaking with our legislators and members of Congress to have that story on how it impacts us in our district and our students. So if we can have a short narrative that goes with that. Concrete examples. So am I hearing? Go ahead, Barbara.
Oh, sorry. And the second part of that is the safety net. One, again, if we wanted a second bullet point, it would be lowering the threshold to qualify for safety net.
Ah, that's an excellent idea.
Oh.
So if we were going to, well, first of all, I guess I should ask, how do people feel about adding that?
I'm good with it. I think one of the things that we just pointed out, the fact that what John was saying is the specifics of how it applies to a bill, then turn it around and say, and if we were able to achieve this, instead of 0.995, we get it to point whatever, then we could fund this program and this program and this program. So you turn it from, okay, here's the specific thing we need in a bill, and here's how it would have an impact on kids, as opposed to just kind of this overall umbrella of saying funding special ed, which everybody kind of just rolls their eyes and says, oh, here you are, and you want 320 million? Oh, gee. I like the idea that John has with going specific, and then we show where that could have an impact and what kind of students, whether it's safety net or being able to change the threshold for safety net. And I think that would apply to the rest of the items on the board there as well.
We were able to raise a lot of awareness about special ed funding needs just with our short 2-minute video last year. So I think that strategy really kind of gave them that message. And now all of our, legislators that touch our district, and even those on the ed committee in Olympia, understand more specifics of how we were impacted, and perhaps going forward, that's also a strategy to develop.
I think the video is an excellent idea, and something to utilize going forward. I just wanted to follow up. You had asked about the threshold in 504. Barbara, I'm not sure I completely understand what that applies to and what you mean by which threshold. So a little more information would be helpful.
So in addition to our special ed funding based on our enrollment, we are also able to apply for what we call high cost safety net funds. So for our significantly high cost students, so ones that we may have to put in private placements or have one-on-one aides, we are able to apply to the state to receive funding above the regular, the funding formula.
Okay.
So anybody who's kind of above average in cost, above what we're funded from the state. And that threshold isn't just your state and federal funding. It's actually 35, I can get the exact number later, but it's about $35,000 per student. And when we aren't funded, $35,000 per student. So if we were to get the difference between the threshold and what we're actually funded, I think we could get $2 to $3 million more, because we apply for 200 students each time we apply for a safety net. So that's what I mean by lowering. So we only get paid once we spend $35,001. So.
And the other piece, if I remember, of a possibility to add on the special education piece is and I think they increased it when they did McCleary, was the percentage of students that you got reimbursed or you got special education. It was like 13% or 15%?
Yeah, it's 12%. 12.5%, I believe.
And we currently serve
less than 10% right now.
Less than 10%.
So we have not hit that threshold. That's not true for every district across the state, but it is true for our district.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
And that 10% includes our 504.
No.
It does not include the 504 safety net spending. Yep. Okay, all right. So at this point, it sounds like sort of keeping this platform, taking out the emergency liability response, moving simple majority to perhaps a different column for emphasis. Do we have any other thoughts about?
I think we're moving tech, weren't we?
Oh, okay. Technology.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was. I gave it to urgent. Say it aloud, but Mark said advocate for moving it from ongoing to vital, the vital category, or urgent or something. If we were to keep the same structure, just to highlight its importance and its salience right now too.
And Chris had mentioned about taking simple majority and putting it at the top of the list on ongoing, so it doesn't get buried as almost an afterthought.
And
go ahead.
Sorry. Director Bleasner, go first.
No, you go ahead.
Okay. if we're only having 2 and ongoing and they're both school construction related, which is what it sounds like if we're keeping the structure, I'm fine with the order. We can talk about both at the same time. I don't have a preference either way, basically, is what I was yammering on about.
Cassandra, are there any items from the top 10 list that we had that don't fit neatly into one of these categories already, or one of these topics as we have it, that we need to insert?
So if we look back at the email I sent, and I don't know, Eric, if you have the ability to easily pop it back up onto the screen, but basically we said support for special ed programs, the SEL, the behavior support, and social emotional learning. We talked about SEB, we talked about school construction. We didn't talk about early childhood ed. That came, within sort of that top 6. Again, it's not, this is the most important, the next is the most important thing. These seem to be some of the most vital things our students need. So we didn't really talk about early childhood ed.
I think that's one that we could insert into that group then, because it falls into that category of being very student-oriented, family-oriented, as opposed to a little bit more construction, if you will.
It would be interesting, as knowing that there's a lot of discussion, right? There's potential funding for universal pre-K at this point in time in different components. As an ongoing piece, I could see it being placed there. That would seem to be reasonable.
My view is not to add anything in addition to our current platform.
But we're taking out the one item out of urgent.
Yep, I know.
So looking at,
sorry, I'll just say 3 words on that rather than be so glib. The thinking is, I just think I like having a focused message of these things, and I not to minimize the importance of early childhood education, and when I view of what are the things is for our district to be focused on and advocating for, what's on our platform right now for me is the priority.
And I
What's
would
the price tag, Barbara, for early childhood education that's not being funded by the state or Fed?
Are you asking me if we were to offer preschool?
I didn't know if we
Are you asking me if we were to offer universal preschool? I haven't put a price tag on that.
I'm sorry. No, Barbara, I'm sorry. I think I'm not declaring it right. We talked about how much underfunded we are in special ed. How much are we underfunded in our early childhood education area?
For the current programs we offer, our special ed, preschool, and Ready Start and Head Start, it's about $700,000.
Okay.
That we're providing local funding for.
Okay.
So I see, sorry, Siri, did you have something you wanted to weigh in with? Okay. I see sort of that social emotional learning and kindergarten readiness. We don't have to specifically call out early childhood, but I think when we talk about kindergarten readiness and SEL and, how do we help students with behavior supports, I think pre-K definitely fits in that bucket. So regardless of what you call it out, you can still advocate for it in front of the legislators. Any other thoughts?
No, I mean, operationally, it's a short session. Let's not change topics. Let's just remove things that were accomplished and keep hitting on the ones that we've got. I mean, as it was actually a little bit wordy last year. I'm sorry. So eliminating one and not adding another one, I'm very good with that.
Well, going to John's approach too, looking at specific pieces and then saying what specifically that would do for us.
Yeah.
Okay. We can have this discussion again at 7 o'clock. An abbreviated discussion.
And so maybe next steps on this, Cassandra, maybe Barbara, Shannon Parthamer, and I will schedule a meeting with you later this week to kind of go through the current ledge platform, kind of do that work around some consolidation of language. We'll do some work ahead of time around some of the specifics that we see under those pieces so that we can get that finalized and then get the board a preview of that before the December 6th meeting.
Sounds good.
Great.
Would you also be connecting, I was thinking of Grace Wan, who had done a lot of the, I'm not sure if she's still one of the active government relations, I should say, or Charlie Brown, either. I know we had worked with them in the past. So will this be working with them as well? They might be able to provide some of that insight of what's lying coming through.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
That's part of the pre-work before we meet with Cassandra, is reach out to those folks that probably off the top of their head they could point exactly. I wish I was planning on going through each bill personally to make that connection, but that I'm not sure I have that skill set.
Well, and I know you and I, John, we're going to talk about over the summer how to maybe better incorporate the legislative rep position with Grace and Charlie and people in those positions. And the summer was very busy with prioritizing kids and getting back to school and creating an online school. But at some point, I think that would be helpful to also further define that role.
Great.
John, if I could, I'd like to be included in that meeting only because we need to have a bridge as Cassandra is departing. We need to have a bridge of continuity from the board. So I'd like to sit in on that meeting as well.
Okay. We will get that on the calendar.
Okay, anything else for the good of the order on this topic? Great.
Just want to say thank you to Cassandra in running this through and having this to get to this point and the shifting. So thank you very much. And we will do our best in moving it forward.
Thank you. The second topic for tonight's study session is an update on the inclusionary practices pilot. Dr. Holman, could you kick us off on the update?
Absolutely, and I just want to make sure, so we have some timing things going on right now. So we have a team that's coming to meet with us, Dr. Hitch, her team, and we have 3 principals from the inclusion pilot schools. And so Mike, I see you jumped on. Do we want to wait until 6 o'clock so that they're all, because I think they all had a meeting and they're just transitioning right now. So
that's right. They are. So they're coming out of a meeting and they're all expecting to join us at 6.
And so I
So
would.
can we
So
break?
you want it to be meaningful?
What was that?
So you want it to be meaningful by having the experts there? Gee, what a concept.
So I would propose we just take a quick break, come back a couple minutes before 6, and then we can get started right at 6 o'clock.
Great. So we'll be adjourned until 6. Everyone try to be back on about 5:58.
Thank you. Eric, do you want to go ahead and get us started?
Yeah, sure. So 6:01. The next topic on our agenda for tonight is an update on the inclusionary practices pilot. And I think, Dr. Holman, you want to just get us started with staff then?
Yeah, absolutely. And so we have a whole team here tonight to share an update. And truly, this update probably could be like a 3 to 4 hour update. And so when you think about an hour of updating a full-scale pilot around inclusionary practices, it's a pretty tight timeline. And so I know we won't be able to answer every question tonight, but if you have additional questions, please document those, send those to me, and we'll make sure to provide follow-up to the board if we're not able to actually answer a question tonight. And so I'll hand it over to Associate Superintendent Mike Van Orden to introduce the team and bring us to a presentation.
Yeah, thanks. And I'll just share a few words for some context, and then I'm sure you'll hear some of the same messages as we're communicating tonight. But I think to start, we want to be really clear. We know that all of our students benefit from and have a right to a general education with their peers, whether they have a disability or not. There's a large body of evidence that points to improved academic and social outcomes for students with significant cognitive disabilities, for example, when they're educated with their peers in their neighborhood schools. And so that's a goal that we've set for ourselves, is to move in that direction, because as you know right now, our students are served, many of our students with significant cognitive disabilities are served in regional programs, and there are benefits to that. There are efficiencies and some specialization, but again, knowing that there's a better way to provide education for our students in inclusive school communities, we really do see, and we have an obligation to move in that direction. That being said, we also have an obligation to make sure that our educators and our schools and our communities are prepared to provide the best educational experience possible when students are in their neighborhood schools with their peers. Finally, just a couple other things to mention is that we're not only talking about the benefits to students with cognitive disabilities, but we also know that all students benefit from being in schools with people who have diverse experiences and perspectives and takes on the world, because that's the world they're moving out into. And so our work is to find that line and to thread that needle between making sure our schools are prepared enough to welcome students back into their neighborhood schools, and to not take so long that we're continuously in this cycle of preparation but never actually make that switch and that transition. And so that's kind of the line we're walking right now. And so tonight we have really four amazing building leaders who are helping pave the way for us. And they're going to share some of their experiences, because we know that by doing work on a smaller scale to start, we learn so much from that we can use as we scale up to all of our schools. And as you'll hear tonight, really our goal is to welcome our students back to their neighborhood schools with their peers, being educated in general education settings with the supports that they're going to need to be successful. And that includes training and thinking about our staffing and our facilities. And so we really appreciated the conversation about the legislative priorities tonight, because though you may hear sometimes that providing this inclusive type of education maybe becomes cost neutral, it really is cost neutral over a long period of time. And there's an initial investment of resources, training, staffing, facilities that you need to take into account at the beginning. And so that's part of our work as well. So tonight, Dr. Hitch is going to provide an overview of some of the work that we're doing. Then we have our amazing building administrators here to share their experiences in their schools. They're, as I mentioned, part of a pilot process that we're using to learn. And then we'll wrap up and talk about next steps. So Shannon, I do have the PowerPoint if you want, and I can put it up, and then you can just let me know when you want me to transition to the next slides.
Thank you.
So give me 1 second to get that up and running for you.
First of all, I'm absolutely thrilled to have this opportunity to share some of the work that's been happening in our district over the past 3 years, actually. And I'm so excited to have our principal partners here, because they're the ones living and breathing this work on a daily basis. But I just feel honored to have the opportunity to share some of these new learnings for us, and really kind of a vision for how we're going to support kids as we move forward. So this really is about inclusionary practices, and you'll hear often the terms diversity, equity, and inclusion used together. And I think it's important to help you understand how these manifest in our schools by kind of breaking them down individually. So we know we live in an incredibly diverse community. It's seen in all the differences in our students. Could be gender, could be ethnicity, could be language, abilities, socioeconomic status. It's really about just this rich tapestry that's in our community. And equity, we know, is really about ensuring that there's policies and procedures and systems in place to make sure everyone can succeed in our community. It's the recognition that there's a history of oppression and inequities, and it identifies how to bring down barriers, which really is giving everyone in the community a seat at the table. But inclusion is really a transformational word, because it's about ensuring that all of our students feel a sense of belonging, no matter who they are or what strengths or needs that they bring with them. We can live in a community that's diverse, we can have equitable school experiences, but at the end of the day, if a student does not feel like they belong, then they feel alone and untethered, and they're not going to have a wonderful educational experience. And so this is really where we're focusing our work. Next slide. So here's some of the topics that I will go over with you, and then hopefully spend as much time as possible so you can hear from our principals tonight. But I do want to share with you some of the background information. This has been a journey that we've been on for the past 3 years, and talk a little bit about what some of our current challenges are. We'll provide you just with a very brief overview of the critical benefits of inclusion and the importance of attending to relationships and equity in instruction. We'll talk a little bit about our progress and our growth, some of our mistakes and some of our challenges and difficulties. We'll have our pilot schools share their experiences in learning with you, and then we hope to have some time for questions at the end. So this is really a snapshot of where we are now in Lake Washington School District, in that we have self-contained learning programs within each of our elementary regions. They might be a learning center that serves kids with significant cognitive disabilities, or they might be an intervention center that serves kids with emotional and behavioral disabilities. At the secondary level, we have those continuum of services in all of our schools, with just a couple of exceptions related to intervention programs. But at elementary school, we very much have them clustered in regions. In the schools that have learning center programs, they typically have anywhere from 1 to 3 classrooms, and usually the ratio of student to teacher is 1 to 8 for a classroom. So the majority of our program schools typically will have upwards of anywhere from 8 to 24 students with significant needs. And inclusion is incredibly difficult when you have a large percentage of your student population with significant disabilities, as we see in our center-based schools. And it's also exceptionally difficult in our schools that don't have their children with disabilities, obviously. And so that's where we're struggling to figure out how to address the needs of these students in a way that is more equitable. We also have a very significant challenge in our district about disproportionality. So we currently over-identify Hispanic Latinx students about 5 times more likely to have a learning disability, and we over-identify Black students as likely to have a learning disability or an emotional behavioral disability. And what inclusion is able to do is it's able to help us address some of those disproportionalities, because the more time we have students engaged in core content instruction, the less likely they are to move down a route towards special education and perhaps a misidentification of having a disability. Next slide. So this is a graphic I designed that really, in my mind, speaks to the heart of the opportunity gaps that we have in our district. We're not alone, other districts have them as well. And if we really want our students, all students, to be future ready, I believe we have to attend to relationships, to equity, and to instruction. In the area of relationships, we know that kids need positive behavior supports and social emotional learning, and that sense of belonging and a group of friends. In the area of equity, we know that we're dealing with implicit bias and ableism. We know we're struggling with beliefs and structures and systems that have been put into place that is not necessarily meeting the needs of all learners. And instruction, we're really hoping to move towards a universal design for learning, encouraging professional learning communities that integrate both general education and special education staff, engaging in inclusionary practices, and ultimately really using evidence-based curriculum and instruction. Inclusion is intertwined through all of these concepts, just as MTSS is intertwined through these concepts. And the hope is that when you bring them all together, you start to really address the problem of practice with opportunity gaps. Next slide. So the quote on the left hand of the slide is one of my favorites because I think it's a very easy way to understand diversity versus inclusion, because diversity is really about having a seat at the table. Inclusion is about having your voice at the table, and belonging is knowing that that voice is heard. So even if we have children in learning centers and they're engaging in general education classes, if there's not a sense of belonging, a relationship with that gen ed teacher, a relationship with their gen ed peers, the belonging is missing and the inclusion is not available. And so that really is the foundation of the work that we're engaging in. So some of the things that we've done is we have drafted up a inclusion kind of document that states really what the purpose of moving forward in this work is, some of the research behind this work, the values that we bring to the table that really emphasize the why of this work. And then we've been working with various groups to truly try and understand the implementation science that we need to engage in order to bring this off the page. We also are helping to help our principals and our staff really understand that this is deeply integrated with multi-tiered systems of support. They can't really separate them. You can't really work apart from them. They're very much a part of the same picture. And MTSS is an inclusion model. It ensures that kids have access to core content with personalized interventions. This work also aligns to the policies of the school board and that recent passage that you guys shared around the superintendent shall establish, maintain, and evolve a culture of inclusion and high expectations that values and respects the diversity and lived experiences of its staff, students, and family. Specifically, the superintendent shall identify and eliminate discriminatory, inequitable, and biased systems, policies, and practices. And that's really what we hope our inclusionary work is able to do. And it also closely ties into our strategic plan that indicates that we're going to create safe, welcoming, and inclusive places for students and staff to learn in order for us to reach our ultimate objective of all students being successful. Next slide. So there's a wide variety of benefits of inclusion, and not everyone may be aware of all of them. Some of the benefits inclusion include positive outcomes for children with significant disabilities, not only across content areas. So they show an increase in their performance in English language arts and in mathematics, but they also show benefits across grade levels, from preschool through elementary school, middle, and high school. They also very clearly show more progress in the general education environment than when they are participating in a contained learning program. And that data has been shown to be true across multiple studies, and so the body of evidence for that is pretty strong. We also know that our students with significant disabilities really have social and behavioral gains from participation in general education, creating that sense of community, that sense of belonging, that idea of being able to see the kids on your street, on your bus, and in your classroom, and having relationships with them starting at our earliest grade levels. What's interesting that I find so fascinating, and I've shared this with special educators, is that what research has shown us is that students in general education who have significant disabilities and they're in an inclusive model, they actually receive more individualized attention and more instruction than when they're in a contained learning program, which is fascinating information and not perhaps what one might expect. And then ultimately, I think this is an incredibly powerful statement for our community, is the reality that we see positive outcomes for students without disabilities by having these students in their classrooms. And it's not just about engaging them with social emotional learning and developing empathy and establishing relationships with those that are different from them, it also increases their academic performance significantly. And so that is a very important piece of information as we seek to build understanding and engagement in our general education community. Next slide. So this is a little bit about our timeline, just so that you're aware of some of the work that we've been engaged in. In the year of 2018-19, that year was really focused on preschool programming. And we had a team come together that worked throughout the year to really design an inclusive preschool program. Because really that earliest intervention with typical peers is so important to the growth and development of our students. In the 2019-20 school year, we actually implemented that fully inclusive preschool program. So our preschool program is 50% of the students in a classroom have special needs, 50% of the kids in that classroom are tuition-based students. And that way we have a fully inclusive model for student learning. And what's fascinating is that last year, due to COVID, we did not have the students who typically are tuition-based students in our preschool program because of the need to have reduced class sizes and the need to have all of the COVID protections in place. And what we found was that students did not make the same academic growth and social emotional growth as they did when they had those peers in the classroom. So it was really just a hands-on experience that shows us the power of having inclusionary practices. We also began some inclusionary programs at our 3 pilot schools, Twain, Rockwell, and Kirkland Middle. We also returned neighborhood students to Rosa Parks, Clara Barton, and Timberline. So we've looked for natural transition points over the past couple of years and have taken advantage of the opportunities provided to us to shift more and more of our students back to neighborhood schools. In just the past couple of years, we've gone from having about 30% of children with significant disabilities accessing their neighborhood schools to almost 50% of students accessing neighborhood schools. We have a long ways to go, but that's wonderful progress, even despite all of the challenges that we have faced in COVID. In 2020-2021, and mind you, this was a remote school learning experience for most of the year, but we engaged our pilot work at Rockwell, Twain, and Kirkland Middle. We increased co-teaching at the secondary level, and a co-teaching model has a general educator and a special educator teaching collaboratively in core content areas. We worked and had the opportunity to work with CAST, which is a national organization focused on universal design for learning. And I will admit, I completely geeked out on the opportunity to work with people who I have read their books for years in the implementation and planning and development of modules that are now available for principals to utilize in their schools throughout the school year. We also spent some very focused time with professional learning with our program specialists or teachers on special assignment, as well as central office administrators building their knowledge and understanding of inclusionary practices and universal design for learning. Finally, this school year, we began the school year by adding more students to a neighborhood school at Carson Elementary. We again increased co-teaching classes at Redmond High School, Kirkland Middle School, and others. The principals have had the opportunity to do some work with me in August and into this school year on universal design and inclusionary practices. The UDL modules are up and running for principals, and we spent some time working with our partners on developing coaching and that skill set for our teachers to be able to support the staff in our buildings in inclusionary practice work. And we've also implemented implementation teams. Okay. kind of implementation teams. But what I've done is I've created teams that are basically like sounding boards who are able to provide us with feedback, guidance, recommendations, critical feedback that is powerful as we seek to design an implementation plan moving forward. Those groups include a group of special education teachers, a group of general education teachers, a group of principals, and a group of parents. And those groups are going to be operating throughout this school year. Next slide. I want to touch briefly on the concept of universal design for learning, because I know that you've heard this term, and you may not be as familiar with it. And so I just wanted to give you kind of a very foundational information about it, because the terminology has been used more frequently lately. And actually, you could spend an entire day really diving into this to greater extent to deepen your understanding. But just fundamentally, it's an educational framework based on research in the learning sciences, in particular cognitive neuroscience, that really guides the development of flexible learning environments and learning spaces that can accommodate and celebrate individual learning differences. It truly is the best practice for teaching all students within an inclusive environment, because the reality is there's no such thing as a quote-unquote average student. Each and every child brings their own strengths and needs into the classroom. So UDL is really meant for all students. It's not just about supporting kids with disabilities, but it's also meant to support students who speak other languages, those who come from impoverished homes, those who are highly capable. UDL is meant to design instruction that meets the individual needs of the students. The components of universal design are focused on engagement, representation, and action and expression. Engagement is about really allowing choices and explaining why a lesson is relevant, having culturally sustaining pedagogy, students who self-assess, having lots of levels of challenge. Representation is about presenting things in multiple modalities and giving scaffolding. And action and expression is about helping kids use technology and other resources to demonstrate their knowledge. Next slide. Okay, so we have been working with our partners at the TIE Center, the University of Washington Herring Center, OSPI, and CAST. We were lucky enough to be the one district in Washington State selected to work with the TIE Center. They're out of the University of Minnesota, and they're focused on the inclusion of students with significant cognitive disabilities. Funding is provided through this pilot work, and really it's focused on district vision, implementation, professional learning and coaching, and master scheduling. Next slide. So we've really been making some progress that we're quite proud of. We do have a fully inclusive preschool model. We have increased inclusion or a continuum of services at neighborhood schools. We've seen increases in co-teaching and professional learning. And we're really focused this year in training our special education teachers in general education curriculums, because we really want to focus having kids in core content instruction. Next slide. So our pilot sites are Mark Twain, Norman Rockwell, and Kirkland Middle. And this is actually my opportunity to turn it over to the real experts in this conversation, and we'll start with Mark Twain. You're muted, Craig.
Craig is telling me he cannot unmute.
Well, how about we go to Nikki, and maybe Craig, you can pop out and pop back in again, and maybe it'll. No.
Can't unmute either.
Oh no!
Messaging me.
Diane, since you're the meeting organizer, would you have the ability to hover over the mics and unmute them?
I think you can only mute as a meeting organizer. I don't think you can unmute.
So they
We
both
have
have
had-
tried leaving and restarting.
Yeah, that's happened. Just leave and restart typically will solve it in the past with experience. So I think we're starting with Michael. Oh, you have
Okay.
restarted and come back.
I know that when I restarted, you had to check the unmute button before you actually entered the meeting. Did you try that? Okay, maybe you guys can try that. Michael, you get to go first.
All right, well, thank you. And Mike, if you would mind bringing the slides up, I have a few slides to present as well. And while those are coming up, I just want to say really quickly, thank you so much for having me this evening. And thank you for letting Rockwell be part of this work because it has been transformational to the culture of this school. I'm really excited about the work that we're doing. And we have signs up all of our school that say all are welcome here. And one of my main goals as the leader of this building is to make sure that that is 100% true every single day. And this has been an important part of that work. So on the slide you're seeing here that says inclusion equals all of us, this is hearts and minds work as much as this is technical pedagogical work. So one of the main pieces that we've done here at Rockwell is very clearly explain our why to all of our stakeholders. So in addition to our teachers and our instructional team, to our parents, I presented to all of our parents using TIE's 10 Reasons to Support Inclusive Schools. We did a whole presentation to roll this out along with the members of our inclusion site team. And then what you're seeing right now is a PowerPoint that I presented to all of our 3rd through 5th grade classes. So I went right to the students. So in kindergarten through 2nd grade, I've visited every single class to talk about what we're doing and why. So in kindergarten through 2nd grade, I've done read alouds with a few books, including All Are Welcome Here and When Charlie Met Emma, which is a story about a friend on the spectrum who meets another friend with limb differences, and it opens up the conversation for us to talk about different is different and different is great. And then for the 3rd through 5th grade classes, I've presented a PowerPoint that TIES and UW helped put together on inclusion. What is inclusive practice and why are we doing this? And what are ways that we can be good friends and good supporters for other people? Those have been some of my favorite moments of this entire school year. And I'll tell you, one of the reasons that we're doing this is that when I think about our vision of every student being future ready, just like Dr. Hitch said, this is about making sure that our students are able to navigate the world, are aware of and support people who come from different walks of life and who present in many different ways. And these are little elementary kids who are going to become high schoolers, who are going to become moms and dads, who are going to support people in the community with disabilities and be advocates. So I'm really proud of that. So on the next slide, we'll talk a little bit about our work over the past several years. So we're in year 3 of the implementation of this goal, and our focus is on helping our students to access the general education classroom, curriculum, and friends as much as we possibly can. And we made some really great strides in that end. And one of those, in that second bullet point there, our inclusive learning space. So we rolled out a brand new prototype program. On paper, it looks like a learning center, but the idea behind it is that it's a home base, really. The idea is that we're bringing students back to their home school, like Dr. Hitch was talking about, and however you present, come to Rockwell. This is your home school, and we're going to support you and scaffold you being out in your general education classrooms. And I'm really last year when we were fully remote. So when we were fully remote, students were accessing their general education classroom. We welcomed in friends from other schools to make sure that everybody had those kinds of supports. And it was pretty outstanding. So one of the things I love about that room is that I can never find anybody. It's generally empty because people are out in the general education classroom in their grade level classrooms, which is great. And so we use that as a bouncing off point for however we need to support our kids. Our big learning and our big work this year is around professional learning around collaborative planning. So 2 pieces here. The first one is how do general and special educators plan with one another? And so we have a program teacher and a resource teacher. They are serving as point persons for our grade level teams, and they're meeting weekly with our grade level teams to plan and look at the pieces that Dr. Hitch was talking about in terms of how can we create access. We're doing this piece on the life cycle of the salmon. How can we make that accessible to somebody who is maybe developing in their language skills or developing in their tech skills? So I love that. And we're using a TIES protocol called the 5-15-45. Essentially, what's the conversation you have when you have 5 minutes, when you have 15 minutes, when you have 45 minutes? So our October full day LEAP session was rolling that out and practicing that in a scaffolded way. And the second piece here is that we're introducing intervention blocks or Beagle blocks, best mascot in the system. So these Beagle blocks are time for our students to get what we call Core Plus More. So it's very scaffolded time that's either for literacy or mathematics, so that students are receiving and experiencing the general education classroom, and then they're getting the plus more during that time. So our students who receive specially designed instruction are not being pulled out from math to receive math somewhere else. They're getting their math experiences in the general education environment, and then this is the time for more. But the thing is, this is the time for more for everybody. When we think of inclusion, we're thinking about it as a spectrum of services. So our students who receive specially designed instruction, our multilingual learners, our students who are receiving HiCap services. So this is a time for everybody to get a little bit more of what they need. And so we're just rolling this out now. Our official launch is November 29th. Some teams are already doing it. Others are slowly rolling on. But I'm very excited about what that's going to do, both in terms of our students receiving that multi-tiered support, the MTSS supports, and as a way for us to really use with fidelity our staff, all of our resources. So it's not catch as catch can. It's a very scaffolded way to make sure that we are using all of the members of our team. We also have an inclusion site team that includes parents and family members that guides the work of our team. I love that. And, these are some of the most important voices in the room are our parents. And it's really wonderful hearing what they have to say. And then, again, the parent engagement piece. We've been presenting at PTA meetings. I have a monthly coffee with the principal and sharing that 10 reasons why. The Inclusion Help Desk, I'm really proud of that. That was kind of an extra ask, wouldn't it be nice? That's become foundational to what we do. I asked TIES to give us a real-time support for inclusion, for us to answer questions that people have. So it's not something we talk about every once in a while, maybe in September and again in October when we have time. Teachers sign up for, and classified team members sign up for weekly slots to talk about, I'm working on this project, I have a question about this IEP, I want to find a way to make this more accessible. And members of the special services team, members of TIES and UW meet with our teachers to provide those resources. And we're building up a bank of resources from all of those sessions that we share on our school team site that we can use in perpetuity. And one other bullet point that I didn't put on there, but I'm really excited about the partnership we have with our students in program in high school, getting ready for work and career. They join us every single day to help us to help us in the office, to help us in the library. And I've been working with Director McGrath to actually expand that so that we can work with them more. So on the next slide, the next steps here, we're going to utilize those professional learning modules through CAST on UDL. Build upon work, and I want to give a shout out to my colleague, Principal Mott, for sharing and working together on developing precursors to that last year, building on our knowledge around that this year. Our students have voice in their IEP meetings. That was something when I was at Redmond Middle School that we were working on, and it's just as important over here. Kids have wonderful things to say, and it also sends the message that we are all in this together. All of these grown-ups are supporting you. And again, I've presented in all of the classrooms, and I've had the opportunity to present with TIES at 2 conferences, at the Office of Special Education Programs National Conference over the summer, where I joined Craig and Dr. Hitch in presenting, and then last month at the Council of Chief State School Officers fall convening, where they were talking about their inclusive leadership initiatives, and I had the opportunity to share our district's work with 7 other states. And actually out of that came a connection with the inclusion director for the AWSP, or the Association of Washington School Principals, and I've been invited to write an article for their winter statewide publication, which I'm excited about. And so moving ahead, the next piece is here, we're going to do learning walks. I am going to provide time for our teachers to see one another, and I'd like to, Craig and Malia, I'd like to invite myself over, please. I'd like to have people come over and see other schoolhouses who are doing this with fidelity so that we can get smart about that. And then I want to expand out that collaborative planning protocol. That's wonderful that our general and special educators are planning together. I'd like to add our safety net teachers, our multilingual teachers, our specialists who see our kids in very unique ways. So as the months go on, we're going to start adding those voices as well, and then expanding out the literacy and intervention blocks that we're working on. So thank you, everybody. It's such a treat to see the people who have come over to see what we're doing. We have some great things in place, and we're in the process of figuring things out. We're a pilot school. You're welcome anytime to come over and see what we're doing. I'd love to have you over. And again, this is, I think the key word here is transformational. This has been transformational to our school community for all of our kids. So I really appreciate having us as part of this work. Thank you.
It looks like Craig's mic is working.
Does that work? Can you all hear me?
Yes. Perfect.
Okay,
Thanks.
good. No, just adapt and modify here. That's all we do with technology. Good evening, everybody. I'm Craig Mott, principal at Mark Twain. Malia Goodfellow, my associate, is also here. So we've actually been on this journey for quite some time. This is year 6 formally for us, although we were doing some initial work prior to our relationships with both Ties and the Herring Center. But really what has happened over the last, I'll say 3.5 years, is our work has become more formalized and supported not only by the district, but also by 2 great partnerships with the University of Washington and the University of Minnesota. We are year 3 in being identified as a state demonstration site for inclusive education. That's given us some great opportunities to do a number of webinars, both pre-COVID, during COVID, in terms of our instructional practice at Twain. It's allowed us to share, but it's also given us the opportunity to have some collaborative conversations with other schools around the state in terms of what they're doing and some of the roadblocks they've had, but also allows us to generate some ideas. And really for us, our journey started with the opportunity to go visit a number of different schools and see what they're doing and really kind of pick and pull and identify some things that Twain could do immediately or down the road with a little bit of professional development and molding of our staff. From that work, in terms of those observations and working with the Herring Center, we've had the opportunity to implement for the last, this is our 3rd year, intervention blocks. Our intervention blocks are called power groups. We align them with our ELA and math. They are designed to provide data-driven intervention. They are designed to be, what's the word I'm looking for, fluid, in the sense that we use and identify a team of teachers that go in and provide intervention to a grade level team. So for example, my kindergarten team right now has 14 power groups happening right now. We utilize safety net, ML teachers, SPED teachers. We have classified staff that have a skill set that we deem needed and able to provide educational service, and they go in and provide just-in-time intervention, or at times they may be providing SDI. And with that, what we've done is we've declassified what our titles are with our staff. Our staff at Twain teach all kids, whether you're coming out of safety net, whether you're coming out of special ed funding. Your job is to teach all kids at Twain. And so it has allowed us to have some flexibility and some ingenuity in terms of how we deliver supports to those kids. We have really emphasized the need to meet every kid as needs in our schools. So when it's time for power groups at a grade level, you see every student moving in the building, even if they are level 4, because we also need to be able to meet the needs of our highly capable students and challenge them in different ways than what they may be receiving in their classroom. But the key to our power groups and the key to our success has been that our goal is that every student has access to core instruction, regardless of what your educational need is on a daily basis. And so some of the work that has now come out of the power group and now our partnership with Ties is taking our students who have been identified in program-based learning environments, so our learning center classrooms, and created inclusive, authentic educational opportunities so our students who are typically in those programs are accessing core instruction. That is our goal. Every student at Twain will access core instruction regardless of what your educational needs are on a daily basis. We have successfully and I would say with accuracy, have 97% of our kids are included in accessing core right now in our building. We no longer do a pull-out model, which is historic in special education. Our intervention blocks are allowing us to meet SDI. We're teaching and we're working together as collaborative teams to ensure that special SDI is embedded into core instruction. We're looking at different ways to empower teachers and empower grade level teams to have a collaborative professional learning community to have those conversations. So one of the things we've done, it's a little messy this year. I think it's in all reality, it's been easier in previous years, but this is messier this year. We've created common planning blocks. And our common planning blocks don't just include gen ed teachers. They also involve identified intervention teachers that we put on those teams. So those teams could have up to 10 people planning on a weekly basis. And they're designed with intentionality. We put intervention teachers to help bookend our gen ed teachers to be able to answer questions, make meaningful access points, and provide opportunities so that every student is able to access that core content that we have and that we're providing. The biggest challenge right now for us is identifying and creating meaningful access and inclusive opportunities for our students who are in program. We're still learning. We are partnering with TIES. We're starting a number of case studies. We have a great relationship with Jen Summerness from TIES and Naomi Fair from the UW, and they're coming in to provide us some coaching support. We have a lot to learn. It's hard work. It's really hard work. I don't want to underscore how hard this work is. We live and breathe inclusion every day. And that's a mindset that we need to adopt as a system, and I mean a system as a whole, in order for this to work. Because what I don't want, and my staff knows this, and anybody who's worked with me, including Mike and Dr. Holman and Shannon, is I don't want to leave a vapor effect where if I ever leave Twain, it disappears. The goal is this is a sustainable goal, and I know that's Michael's goal, and I know that's Nikki's goal as well. So we are constantly trying to keep it very active in our language on a daily basis. And so we actually borrowed from Michael last year, the SPED help desk. It was a great opportunity for us also to share and pull a resource and an idea from a colleague. And so we've made it our own. And we've actually aligned it now with our equity work as well. So 1 week we do a special ed help desk, the next week we do an equity help desk, and we try to merge both of them because it's not only an inclusion focus, it's also an equity inclusion focus as well. And then as far as moving forward, we really need to still get smarter. We constantly are using languages about barriers, and unfortunately for all of us in the education world, the adults tend to be the biggest barriers to the work and creating inclusive opportunities. And so we're having intentional conversations and having to push back on staff to say, hey, is this an adult problem or a child problem? And 99% of the time it's an adult problem. And so we're trying to navigate those conversations and also the systems to help support kids as we move forward. We also are going to be working to get better at UDL. It's a great instructional framework. I think it's the instructional framework that meets all of our needs in terms of MTSS, equity, inclusion. We need to get smarter with it, and we had the opportunity this summer to work with Shannon and Cass with my staff to kind of look at a number of the modules. We just haven't had the time at this point to really dive deep. And then the other piece of it is we just want any professional development we can to continue to get better, because we know each student who comes to Twain, and this is the main point for us too, is we want all students who live in the Twain attendance area to attend Twain. That's our mission and vision. That's what started this process along the way, was having conversations with siblings who said, hey, we'd have an evening event and a sibling would show up and I didn't know you had a sibling. And they go to Rockwell or they go to Lakeview or they go to Rush. And I'm like, well, why aren't they coming to Twain? And so that was where our initial push to Shannon and the district was to have programs at our school because I wanted those kids at our school. It's definitely positively evolved into something where we are right now, and I see very bright things. But as I said, it's hard work, and we need to keep the language very alive.
Thanks, Craig. And Nikki, were you able to get?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, great. Yeah, so I'm representing Kirkland Middle School. I'm the principal there, and we had. Is it echoing on your all's end as well? I have no buttons, so I don't know what to do. Do you want me to try to rejoin again?
No, I didn't hear it. I muted Craig. Sometimes when there are two people who are not muted, that's the issue. Or two people whose mics are on, that's the issue.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Craig and I are both buttonless, so presents a unique challenge today. All right, so at Kirkland Middle, so this is my second year as principal of that building, and last year there was a little tiny bit of co-teaching happening, and about this time last year, we started talking more about inclusion and what that could look like at Kirkland, and we expanded our co-teaching pretty significantly. We're co-teaching all of our English classes. At the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade level, we still have one resource English class, and that class is solely focused on teaching students to read. So it's phonics-based through a software called Language Live. That's an evidence-based curriculum. We are also co-teaching all of our English safety net classes, and students are with their peers and getting additional attention from teachers. So these are students who have struggled. And so they're getting extra help as an intervention. We're also co-teaching our Math 6 Safety Net class. And the other thing that we're doing that I think is actually probably one of the stronger pieces is that in a lot of schools, students who qualify for services in social emotional, social skills, behavior are pulled into a separate class, which research shows does not work. So we are doing a push-in model at all grade levels through our science classes, where a special education teacher pushes in and does just-in-time specially designed instructions so students are able to transfer those skills. And we did it at my prior middle school and it worked, and so we decided to bring that to Kirkland as well. Like I'm pretty sure Michael said, but I couldn't quite hear everything he said. And what Craig said, we are working closely with TIES and the Herring Center. They actually came out and did PD for all of our co-teachers, teachers who are co-teaching Safety Net as well as special education classes, and really talked about what co-teaching is, because there's a lot of misconception about what co-teaching is and how it should look. So they did that, and that was great. And they're going to do a follow-up PD for us in the new year on co-teaching. We are also working with the TIES Center and Herring Center on writing inclusive IEPs. So with the idea that goals should be able to be fulfilled and worked on across the board, not just in special education classrooms. And not directly related to inclusion, but this is the first year Kirkland is running an intervention period. So it's called academic prep. Most of the middle schools have it. It's a 30-minute period 3 times a week where students can be called by teachers for extra help, where they can choose to go get extra help, where they can do enrichment activities or just organize themselves. And so I think that's proving very useful for a lot of students. Challenges with inclusion. I think staffing is a big one at the secondary level. Things look very, very different than elementary. Like we're starting to plan our master schedule now and starting to have conversations about how are we going to start inclusion in math next year. And so I think it takes a little more staffing than the state allocates. And that might just be as we're getting going. I think as Shannon mentioned, that sometimes the startup staffing is a little bit more. We're also really reevaluating what inclusion looks like for different students. So if we have a student in our transition center program, right, like we're constantly looking at, is a resource placement for a certain class more appropriate than staying in the transition center? And so that's a bit of a new practice at Kirkland. the biggest challenge I think we're facing is around SPED being a service and not a place. So like Craig mentioned, all teachers are teachers of all students. Students are general education students first, and they receive special education as a service. And so we're working on that. And then of course, paraeducator staffing is just hard this year. Things are just hard this year, but it's been hard to fill our open para vacancies. And so that's a challenge. For our additional learning, we are really focused on MTSS and what Tier 1 and 2 interventions look like. We're continuing to work on master schedule, and next year we're hoping to expand co-teaching to math at both the special education and safety net levels. I'd love to vertically align with our feeder schools so that they know what our inclusive practices look like. The elementary, besides Twain, the elementary school is coming up to us, as well as connecting with LDAB about what our special education programming looks like in our continuum of services. We're also working hard on MTSS just in general, and we also want to do learning walks, and I think both Craig and Michael mentioned those. So that is what's happening at Kirkland with inclusion.
Thanks. And I know, Shannon, you had a few last comments, but I also know we only have a few minutes before the 7 o'clock board meeting, so I did want to leave time for at least a few questions, if that's okay with you.
Totally fine.
So we did want to make sure that we did, if any of the board members have any questions, we can also follow up too with responses if we don't have enough time tonight with a board brief or a future meeting. So it looks like Mark.
Oh, go ahead.
Real quick, as we're looking at moving these kids, quote unquote, back to the neighborhood schools, took a few notes earlier. Are we moving them back into the full classroom, or are we moving them back into contained classrooms in their local school?
Ultimately, it's going to be a child-by-child decision as to how much time they're accessing general education and how much time they're accessing special education. Our goal is to move the vast majority of our students towards spending the majority of their day in general education. But we also know that we can't go from 0 to 60. We know that it needs to be a thoughtful process for each individual child as we consider, how much success we can find for them in gen ed, where we may need to provide more direct instruction for them. But that's the beautiful part of creating schedules with intervention blocks, is when you have intervention blocks, you actually don't have to remove children from core content. It's core plus more. They're able to get that instruction that they need.
And yeah, I can see the need for the idea of the pilots, and we've been expanding them and so forth, and we're learning more about how to have the co-teaching. I'm curious, it seems like a way to kind of prep the classes or the students that are not currently being included is to have fully included homerooms. I recall at Redmond High, out of the entire class of special ed kids, only 3 were included in a homeroom, and that provided all the students to get to know these kids in a setting where, yeah, they're doing some work, but they're not receiving direct instruction necessarily. And to be quite frank, it became very apparent when they didn't have these kids in the homeroom, because when they called for the senior class picture, only a couple of them showed up because they were called by their homerooms, not from special ed. And so they were left out totally. Also, let's see, again, when we're not even doing the pilots yet, if we could have the kids in their schools start their day in putting their coats, their lunch boxes, whatever, in the general ed classroom, and at least socialize for those few minutes so everybody gets to see each other. It seems to me that would again be laying groundwork as you want to expand your co-teaching in a very simple way and non-invasive way, to be quite frank. Anyway, just some thoughts on the sidelines.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh, one last question. As we're changing, as we're trying to adapt to make it best for everybody, the Orton Gillingham, is that being introduced in for our reading program? So since that benefits both the dyslexic student with dyslexia as well as the general, as well as the typical developing kid?
You actually have, I believe that's on the board agenda tonight, the consideration of adoption of phonographics, which is a reading curriculum based on the Orton Gillingham method.
So it's based on, but not the Orton Gillingham.
It's not a quote, it's not published by Orton Gillingham, but it's the methodology of Orton Gillingham.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And I think we have time for one last question from Cassandra.
Briefly, my oldest son entered kindergarten in 1995. I have seen so much incredible progress in all of education, and especially when I think back to special education services in 1995. My youngest son at the Transition Academy is having the best year of his life. And I want to thank you all for working on this inclusion, because it is so vitally important to all students, and especially how our students who need special education services will then navigate the world. So I'm grateful to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Cassandra. I appreciate that.
Director Bleasner, we are out of time, but if you have quickly, I guess.
I'll be really quick. I just wanted to thank you for the presentation and the work you're doing with inclusion. Recognize the challenging environment in which you were doing that as well through all of this. And I'm excited to potentially go out and visit some of these, to see them in person, to understand sort of all those additional efforts that are going on. So thank you very much for all you're doing, and I appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. I gotta say thank you as part of wrapping up. So that's it for the presentation tonight. Thank you everyone for joining us, for fighting through the technical problems, and for the presentation. Really appreciate it. So that is the last item on the agenda for the study session tonight. Following tonight's study session meeting, we have a board meeting starting at 7, so in 2 minutes. So if everyone will switch over now, we'll try to start as close to 7 as possible. And this November 15, 2021 study session is adjourned. See everyone in a little bit. Thank you.